Maybe we'll work our way to crow. Let's see how we feel. Maybe a couple of hand balances today. So let's start off with just breathing. So just resting the hands on the legs, just creating a circle with the thumb and the index finger, eyes closed. And just focus on the breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Long, slow, deep breaths. And just take note of how you're sitting, getting tall, trying to relax the shoulders, but at the same time broadening across the collarbone. Chin slightly tucked, head back, getting the neck nicely lined up with the back. Arms soft, face is soft, eyes closed. And then deeper breaths, inhaling through the nose, letting that air fill the lungs, expand the ribs. Exhale, make that exhale just as long as the inhale. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Kapalabhati breathing. We haven't done this for a while. It's also called fire breath. It's energizing. As we breathe in, we're pulling the belly in. And is that right? And as we breathe out is a forced exhale. So I think as you breathe out, you pull in. So breathe in. And then forced exhale out. Regular breathing. Yeah, as you breathe out, it's a forced exhale. You're pulling that belly in. Inhales will be automatic on this one. So you don't really have to think about the inhales. They just happen. So think about more of the exhales. A nice sharp forced exhale. Inhale. And go. Regular breathing. Not the kind of recommended technique if you're pregnant or if you have high blood pressure. If it makes you super dizzy, then just go back to regular breathing. If you're a little bit dizzy, maybe you're just not used to the practice. Sometimes we get a little bit dizzy. But this is an energizing kind of breath. It's bringing a lot of oxygen into the body. Another round. Inhale. And go. Back to regular breathing. Inhale as the arms come up, bringing the palms together. Exhale as you bring the arms down. Inhale, sweeping the arms up. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. Take the right arm over to the side, pushing into the ground. Inhale the other arm up, reach up towards the ceiling as much as you possibly can, and then bringing that arm over the head, taking a side stretch. Take a few breaths here. Inhale, we come up, reaching up, and then exhale over to the other side. Inhale back up, Interlace the fingers. Extend the arms forward, shoulders back, sit tall. Trying to get the arms pretty straight. Start bringing the arms up. Eventually we're going to frame the face. If it bothers the shoulders, just bring the arms slightly more forward. Just take the pressure off the shoulders. But if the shoulders are good, maybe you can extend the arms directly up to the ceiling. We interlace the hands behind us, interlacing the other way. Pull the shoulders down, shoulder blades together. We hinge forward as we slowly lift the arms up. And then slowly come back up. Easy twist. Placing the left hand onto the outside of the right leg. Take an easy twist. First twist of the session. Get tall. And then look over that back shoulder. Inhale back to center. And then twist in the other direction. And then back to center. And then just work on the shoulders a little bit, bringing one shoulder forward, up, back and down. Just trying to loosen up. We hold a lot of tension in the shoulders. So just be aware of how what's happening, generally, not just throughout yoga, but sometimes, we will be at the computer and the shoulders are up like this. We don't realize it. So just try and relax those shoulders as much as you can. Get out of those bad habits. Okay, come onto your back. Walk the feet in. Feet are parallel. On an inhale, push the lower back into the ground. On the exhale, bring the lower back up. So you've got a gap underneath the lower back, but the tailbone is still down. Inhale, pushing into the ground. Exhale, lower back comes up. Inhale. Exhale. So really push into the ground. Engage those muscles as you inhale. And we're relaxing on the exhale. Inhale, pushing in, engaging those muscles. Exhale, we relax, letting the lower back come up. 2 or 3 more. Next inhale, we push into the ground, we lift those hips up. We keep the gaze towards the ceiling. Exhale, we slowly come down and we relax. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, down. Take your time. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale into bridge, hold bridge. Get the legs parallel. Interlace the hands. Walk the arms, shoulders closer. Push into the ground with the arms and the head. Push into the ground with the feet. Push the feet into the ground. Glue the feet to the ground and try and pull the feet towards you. Walk the shoulders in a little closer. Breathe. Slowly come down, releasing the arms. Bring the knees in. Rock from side to side a couple of times. Take hold of the back of the legs and then rock yourself up into boat. We're balancing on the sit bones, arms either side of the legs. For those that want a more challenge, we start to lift the legs higher, we straighten the legs. Those that want to take it a little bit easier, hold on to the legs. Breathe. Toes, kneecaps up towards the ceiling. Try and keep that back neutral. We lower the legs so they're a few inches off the ground. We bring the hands behind the head. We push the lower back into the ground again. Engaging that core for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We lower all the way down. We take a full body stretch. We walk the feet in again. We take hold of the back of the legs. We rock ourselves up. This time, pull the feet in and come onto your hands and knees. Cat-cow. Inhale, belly down, head up. Exhale as you round the back and tuck the chin. Just keep going at your pace. I just need to get my clock so I can keep track of the time, but keep going into cat-cow. Come to neutral, bring the forearms to the ground, and then into Sphinx. Make fists with the hands. We haven't done this for a while. Forearm plank. I used to do this every class, but I haven't done this for a little while. We tuck the toes, we bring those hips up. Remember, we're looking directly below, directly down. We're pushing the forearms into the ground, trying to lift up that area between the shoulder blades. Some of you, bring the right leg up for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Other leg. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We walk the knees in. We keep the elbows under the shoulders, palms together, dolphin, toes tucked, hips up, hips back, opening up across the upper back. You're looking between the legs. I would keep the knees bent. Not only are you pushing into the ground, you're trying to keep the head off the ground, but you're pushing the ground away from you, trying to straighten that line out, elbows through the shoulders to the hips. Take 2 or 3 more breaths. Knees down, child's pose, relax. Extended child's pose, stretch the arms forward. And then start walking the hands over to the one side, so extended child's pose with a side stretch. And then walk over to the other side. Back to center. We come up, we're sitting on the heels, we bring the hands, lining the fingers up with the toes, chin tucked, start opening the chest, elbows bent, head back carefully, and if you want a little bit more challenge, you can bring the hips up. And then sit bones come down. And then bring the hands in between the knees. So we're just going to stretch the hands out a little bit. So I've got my toes together, knees apart, and I'm turning the hands so the fingers are pointing towards the back edge of the mat, inside of the wrist parallel to the front edge of the mat, and I'm just going to stretch out my wrists, my forearms a little bit. I'm just rocking a little bit, coming backward and forward. And then we come up. Okay, let's try this. I'm just going to move my mat. So I'm facing you guys. We're going to come into a lunge. So bring the right foot forward and place the hands on that right knee. And we're just going to bring the whole body forward and back. You don't have to go back too far. It's not a hamstring stretch. We're stretching out the front of that back leg. So we're just going forward and back. And we'll do this about 10 times. And then hold it forward, and then bring the arms up. And you're going to feel a little bit more stretch at the front of that back leg. And if you want to add a little bit more stretch, just add a little backward bend, looking up, and breathe. If you'd rather keep the hands on that front knee, that's fine. And then we bring the hands down. And we're going to take that right leg over to the right. So the foot is lined up with that left knee, and this time we go from side to side. And this is going to stretch out the adductors. And we'll do about 10 of these. Hold as you lean over, bringing the right forearm onto that leg. Other arm comes up, we add another side stretch. We come up. We reposition the foot and extend the leg to the side so the foot is facing forward. We come onto our forearms, and this time we're just bringing the whole body forward and back. Again, we're stretching out the inside of that extended leg, and I get a little stretch in my lower back on this one as well as I come, especially as I bring my body back. And then we switch to the other side into the lunge, bringing the left foot forward. Hands on that front leg, and we come forward and back, and we repeat a few times. So as I said earlier, we'll probably work our way into crow today, I think. We haven't done crow for a little while. Maybe Tittibhasana. They're both challenging hand balances. Tittibhasana is a real challenge. You need open hips, open hamstrings, and core. Okay, come forward, arms come up, lean backward, breathe. Bring the hands down, take the leg over to the side. So this time the left foot's pointing to the side, and we just lean over to one side and back, over and back. And I say this works the adductors. And then we're going to hold it over to the side, resting the forearm on the leg. And add the side stretch, reaching that arm over the head, stretching out that right side of the body. And then we reposition the foot, extending the leg so the toes are facing forward, forearms to the ground. We bring the body forward and back. Okay, back into lunge on the other side. So your right foot is forward. Now this time, a bit more of a hamstring stretch. So we're walking the toes forward, and then we start to straighten the leg and back into the lunge. Getting the leg a little bit straighter and then the lunge. So here we're trying to get at the hamstrings. Going a little deeper each time, maybe, if the body is okay with that. We always listen to the body, right? Hold that leg straight, extended. Walk the hands in a little bit closer. Kneecap, toes towards the ceiling, so this foot is active. Try and keep the back pretty neutral. And breathe. We come into lizard. If you have a block, you can bring the forearms onto the block. If you want to just stay higher, that's fine. Or you can bring the forearms onto the ground, wherever you're at. We come back up. We switch. You can go as slow as or as fast as you want. If you want to go quickly, we bring the knee up, we engage the core, and on an exhale, we switch. We're back in the lunge. We walk the foot forward, and then we extend the leg, and back into the lunge. And we do that a few times. And then we're going to hold that leg straight for a few breaths. Toes, kneecap up towards the ceiling, stretching out the back of the leg. Eventually that leg is going to be straight and you're going to engage the quads. Maybe you're doing that already. But if you need to get the knee bent, that's fine. If it's too much of a stretch on the back of the leg, bend the knee. And then lizard with blocks, or you can stay high, or for those if they can go a little bit deeper, forearms to the ground. You get the same sort of stretch as you would in Happy Baby, but this time we're just doing one hip at a time. And then we come back up. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Walk the dog. Bring the feet closer and just walk the dog slowly. Feeling that stretch in the back of the legs, calf muscle stretches. And then we look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhale halfway up. Exhale folding forward, knees bent. We come into chair and then we come all the way up. So what I used to do a lot in class is we work on is it qigong kind of stuff? Not that I know much about that, but we're just going to swing the arms from side to side, and as you bring the arm round, you're going to tap the back, lower back, and the shoulder. So we're just going to get nice and loose, and we're just going to swing the arms. So the arms are really loose, and as you swing, you're tapping the shoulder with one hand, and you're tapping the back, using the back of the hand, tapping the lower back with the other hand. and let the movement follow the head. So you're turning the head and everything else will follow. And then we just slow down, just like a spring losing its tension. The arms are nice and loose. Next, we inhale as we bring the arms up, exhale down. So what we're going to do here, as we inhale, we're going to come up onto the toes, and then we come down. Inhale, reaching up onto the toes, exhale down. Inhale, exhale. Inhale up, stay on the toes, bring the arms either side of you, and then flip the hands facing upward. Trying to stay on the toes, and then slowly come down. Take the feet so they're a few inches apart, hands on the knees, and we're just going to circle the knees in one direction. This is supposed to be good for the knees. And then we circle in the other direction. And then we bend the knees and straighten the legs, keeping the hands on the knees. We come to the front of the mat. Inhale into chair. Exhale as you fold forward and down. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands into plank. Knees down, elbows in, chin chest forward and down. Inhaling into cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up. Stack the hips, getting a bit of a hip opener. Extend the leg. Star pose, you're bringing that knee forward, you're shooting the leg over to the side. So the foot is in line with the hands. We keep the hip up, we pull that lower shoulder in and down, and we open up towards the ceiling. Breathe. If you're feeling a little bit crazy, you bring the hand down and you do 3 or 4 push-ups. 1, 2, 3. We extend the leg, same leg. We switch legs, other leg comes up. We stack the hips. We extend the leg. We come into star. You're pulling the knee forward, extending the leg. I'm trying to line the foot up with the hands. I'm pulling this bottom shoulder in, and then I'm opening up towards the ceiling, breathing. Bring the hand down. You can come out, or if you're crazy, push-ups. 1, 2, 3. We extend the leg. Top foot joins the bottom foot. We bring the knees down and we come into child's pose. Downward facing dog. Look forward, walk forward between the hands. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, folding forward, knees bent. We're back in chair, and then we come all the way up. Inhale into chair pose. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands. We're in plank. For those that want to do chaturanga, we bring the whole body forward. We're turning the hands out. We drop the elbows to 90 and hold it if you can. And inhale into upward facing dog, opening the chest, shoulders down, hips off the ground. Exhale, down dog. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, we sweep that foot through, readjusting the back foot. We're in warrior one. Little bit of a back bend. Exhale into warrior two. I'm going a little bit wider with the feet. And then we're going to transition into extended side angle pose. So we'll do a reverse warrior. And then we'll bring that forearm to that front knee, extending that top arm over the head. And if you want to go a little deeper, you can start sliding that hand down inside or outside the leg, towards the ground or towards a block if you have a block. You're trying to keep the body parallel to the side of the room. If your body's starting to come down more towards the ground, you've got a little bit too low, so come back up again. We come back into warrior two. Reverse warrior, and then we flow to the other side. Through plank, chaturanga, up dog, opening that chest, looking up, down dog. Inhale the other leg up, probably your left leg. Exhale, we sweep that foot through. We're in warrior one, other side. And then we come into warrior two. Maybe a little bit more distance between the feet. Reverse warrior. And then extended side angle. Take your time here. So I'm trying to get as straight a line as possible from that top hand through the hip, the shoulder, hip, and then towards the back foot. You want to try and keep that straight line. If you go lower, if your arm is inside the leg, you can push into that leg. And then we slowly come back up, warrior two, reverse warrior, and then this time into plank, and we're going to hold plank pose. You like a plank of wood, so the hips are not too high, they're not too low. Neutral back. You bring the right hand to center, you stack the feet, side plank. Bottom knee can be down or top foot can be down in front of you, stacking the arms, looking up, and maybe bring the top leg up. We're back in plank, side plank other side, hand to center, stack everything, straight lines, maybe top leg comes up. Back into plank, whole body comes forward, elbows in, chaturanga, up dog, down dog, knees down, back into child's pose. And then slowly come back up. So we'll do what I call yoga push-ups. It's a little bit like the vinyasa. We do this from time to time. And a little bit like cat-cow. In fact, if you'd rather just do cat-cow, that's fine. If the yoga push-up is too much for you, you can just do cat-cows. But what happens in the yoga push-up, we're in down dog, and then we're coming up onto the toes as we bring the shoulders over the wrist. Back is rounded, elbows in, and then you come into upward facing dog, inhaling, and then back into downward facing dog. So try that if you want, and as I say, if you don't want to do that, you can just do regular cat-cow. For those that want to try it, from downward facing dog, onto the toes, heels up over the toes, Tucking the chin, rounding the back, here elbows in, coming into upward facing dog, inhaling, exhaling, downward facing dog. Get into a rhythm, inhaling, coming forward into up dog, engage the core as you go back into down dog. Inhaling into up dog, exhale down dog. Use that core. One more if you can. Inhaling into up dog, exhaling down dog. Bring the knees down and then child's pose. And then slowly come up. Okay. Am I being mean to you guys today? Well, I'm working you a bit harder, so I'm going to be off for a few weeks, so working you a little bit harder today. Coming to a standing position. Balance on the right foot. Let's go into tree. You're balancing on the right foot. Left foot is inside the leg, and it's either below or above the knee. So I'm pushing into the inside of my thigh. Shoulders are soft, but at the same time I'm broadening across the collarbone. I'm engaging the muscles of that standing leg. And then the arms come up and you breathe. You're gazing on something that's not moving. So get that gaze. So I'm just looking at the edge of the mat where the rug joins the wooden floor. Holding the gaze, looking at something not moving, that helps to keep the balance, makes the balance a little bit easier. If you do struggle with the balance, you can, be next to some furniture, so you can just grab onto the arm of a chair or something like that. Or you could lean against something, whatever. We bring the hands down and we shake the legs out. And we shake the arms out. We move the shoulders, get loose. Other side, you're on the left foot. Right foot is inside the leg, below or above the knee. Just remember not to push into the knee joint. We're opening the hips. We're strengthening that standing leg. And we're having to focus, concentrate to keep the balance. Arms up whenever you're ready. The foot is working all the time. I'm not totally stationary. I can't stay stationary. I'm having to move from side to side, and my foot is working to keep that balance. I'm feeling those muscles. If your foot is above the knee, you can feel those inner quads working, hopefully. You're extending the arms up, you're pulling the shoulders down. And we come out of tree. Shaking out. Take a block. Block is in front of you, full height. You're on the right foot, but this time the knee is bent. Standing pigeon. Other foot is on top. And we rest the hands on that top leg. We activate that top foot. So basically we're just standing with the knee bent to that standing leg. The lower you go, the more you're going to feel the hip stretch. The block is there just in case you want to go a little bit lower, and it's there just to help you keep the balance. Maybe you can lower the block, maybe you can bring the fingers all the way down to the ground. We come up and we switch. You're on the left foot, right outer foot is on top, activating that top foot. Knee of the standing leg is bent, and the lower you go, the more you're going to feel the stretch. You feel it on the outside of that hip, that top hip. And as I say, the block is there just in case you want to go a little bit lower. And breathe. Good stretch. Okay, there we go. So I promised you crow, right? So we did a little bit of a hand and wrist stretch. So if you do have really tight wrists, you might want to stretch them out again. If they're ready, we come into the squat. We take the feet pretty wide and we push the arms into the legs. And we can just hang out in the squat. You don't have to go any further than this if you don't want. If you want to get into crow, you bring your hands down. So my hands are just a little bit wider than hips. I'm pushing the upper arms into the legs. Then next, on your toes, you're bringing your knees as high as possible and you're looking forward all the time. You lean on the arms and then you just let the feet float up and you try and squeeze the arms with the legs, with the knees. And you breathe. It's just gentle movements, and you're just moving the weight of the body to get into that nice balance point. You don't kick up. You just float up. You keep the throat nice and long. We start out in the squat. We push the arms, upper arms into the legs. Hands firmly on the ground. You come onto the toes. So you're getting the knees high. You're looking forward. And you're resting the knees on the arms. So I'm bringing just one foot up. I'm leaning a little bit more forward. And then the other foot comes up. I'm looking forward all the time. Do not tuck the chin. If you tuck the chin, your head's going to come down to the ground. And then we come down. It's a lot of core work, a lot of upper body strength. You're breathing, but you're building that strength at the same time. Tittibhasana is a challenging hand balance pose. With Tittibhasana, instead of the hands going outside the legs, you're bringing them inside. So I'm bringing the hands behind the feet. And again, the upper arms are like shelves. So I'm bending the elbows and I'm going to walk those feet forward. And I'm letting my hips just sink to the ground. And again, the legs are going to float off the ground. But this time, I'm going to try and straighten the legs a little bit more into Tittibhasana. And you're breathing. This time it's okay to tuck the chin or lift the head up. I can't get my legs totally straight. This is about the best I can do. And then I come back up. If you can hold it, congratulations. If you've lost your balance, your sit bones have sort of crashed down to the ground, that happens a lot, especially when you're new to this one. As I say, a lot of hip opening needed, a lot of hamstrings flexibility. It's a bit of a challenge, and if it puts too much pressure on the back, come out of the pose, skip the pose. But as I say, you bring the arms behind and wide, and then bringing the weight of my sit bones down, and eventually my palms will come all the way. It's not until this point my palms come all the way down. So I'm really sinking into this pose as the legs come up, and then I try and extend the legs. I'm trying to straighten those legs as much as I can and breathe. And then we come out. Another thing you could do is cross one foot over the other foot. And you know, there's different kinds of variations. Some people can get from Tittibhasana back into crow as well, keeping the feet off the ground. Child's pose. Lie face down. So I need a little bit of a back bend after that. So let's do Dhanurasana. So hold on to the feet. So you're face down, you're holding onto the feet. I like to hold onto the inside of the ankles, but some people prefer the top of the foot, just below the toe. Then you're going to push the feet into the hands and lift those legs up to the ceiling. Don't let the legs splay out. That's important. That keeps the back safe. And then you try and bring the legs a little bit higher. You're looking up. You're opening that chest. You're breathing. Engaging the core, the glutes. And then we come all the way down and we totally relax. One more time. Find the feet. Push the feet into the hands. Keep the legs parallel. Don't splay the legs. Lift the head up. Lift the legs up. We're trying to open the chest. I'm trying to bring the feet up and back. I'm trying to lift my chest up as high as I can. Probably you can go a little bit deeper than I can. But I'm trying to get that chest up. Breathe. And then we come down and we relax again. Head back to neutral, hands under the shoulders. Child's pose. This time knees together, feet together. Bringing the arms either side of the legs. Keep the head supported. Nice rounding of the back, just gently stretching the back out. And then we come back up. And come into a seated twist. So let me do the mirror image. So you're going to bring the right foot in and you're going to take the left foot outside that leg. The lower leg can be extended if you have any knee issues. Foot solidly on the ground. The foot can be inside or outside the knee, it's up to you. You then hug the knee, or you bring the arm outside the leg. Inhale, getting tall, exhale into that twist. Take 3, 4, 5 breaths. We switch. Bringing the right foot outside that left leg. Left leg can be straight if you want. Maybe hugging the knee. I like to hug it to begin with and get a little deeper. I'm pushing my hand into that hip, loosening the hip up a little bit, and then I'm going to bring the arm outside the leg. And then try and get tall and then into the twist. We come out of the twist. Kakasana. We bring the soles of the feet together and we rock. As we rock, we're getting the feet in a little closer to the hips. If your back is rounded, if your knees are high, you should be sitting on something, a cushion or a block. Try and get the back neutral. A lot of arm work, pulling the hips forward, and then we're trying to encourage the legs a little closer to the ground. And if you want, you can just bring the legs up and down. It's also called butterfly pose, so we're just flapping the wings of the butterfly. And then become still. And see if you can get the knees a little bit closer to the ground. I'm using a lot of arm strength here, pulling my hips forward, trying to get that back neutral. Breathe. Okay, let's try this one. So you're going to take the right leg. Mirror image again. So the shin is parallel to the edge of the mat that's in front of you. Then you're going to take the other leg on top. If this is tough, you can just do an easy pose with the legs crossed like this. But if you're okay with this one, we then try and close this gap, opening the hips. If you can do this, if you can sit like this with the shins stacked and parallel to the edge of the mat in front of you, your hips are pretty open, you're probably okay to go into lotus. Which, that's another time, another session perhaps. I feel the stretch on this. For me, my right leg is on top. For you, your left leg is on top. So for me, I'm feeling a bit of a stretch on both hips, but in particular on the right hip. And then we switch. Take your time. Don't force it, just encourage it. We never force ourselves into a pose. This side's easier. Yeah, this is much easier for me. So obviously everyone's a little bit unbalanced, so the other side is a bit more challenging. I still feel it in the hips, but it's an easier stretch. Okay, we come out. Come onto your back. Pull the knees in and just rock from side to side. Happy baby. Hips should be pretty open, so this should feel easier. Should feel like you can go a little deeper on this one today. So legs wide apart, you're holding onto the inside or the outside of the feet. You're trying to get the legs closer. You're trying to get the tailbone closer to the ground. Hold on to the big toes. Palms face each other. First two fingers thumb around the big toe. And we extend the legs into a V, or at least approaching that. Shoulders pull down and in. And as I say, you're trying to get the tailbone as low as you can. You breathe. You're going to feel it probably on the inside of the legs, maybe a little bit of a hamstring stretch too. And then extend the legs, full body stretch. Legs extended, arms extended over the head, trying to get as much length as you can. And then we pull the hips away from the feet, and we pull the back away from the hips, and we then get length in the back of the neck. Again, hips pulled, back pulled from hips, neck lengthened. Side stretch, getting into a banana shape, stretching out one side of the body, 4 or 5 breaths. And then we stretch out the other side. And then recenter. And let's do Supta Konasana, butterfly pose, lying down. We bring the soles of the feet together. And you can rest the hands on the belly, on the floor, or gently on the inside of the legs. Just gently letting those hips open. If this bothers the hips, a couple of things. You could put blocks underneath the legs to support them so they're a little bit higher. If it does still bothers them, you just come out of the pose, just come straight into Shavasana. If you're in butterfly pose, just bring your attention to the hips and try and relax in that area with the breath. So just try and totally relax. And whenever you're ready, come into Shavasana, extending the legs and bringing the arms either side of you, palms face up. And just totally relax, sinking into the ground. Moisten the lips, lick the lips. Stretch the hands out. Clench the hands. Stretch the hands out again, try to get as much space as you can between the fingers. And then clench. Stretch out again. And clench. And then relax the hands. Walk the feet in. And roll over to one side. Take a breath or two. And then gently come up into a seated position. Inhale as you sweep the arms up. Exhale as they come down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keeping the palms together. Namaste.